Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listener review, and I was very excited when I first saw this announced. It was Atomic Rooster's self-titled album. Though they're expanding it to a double disc, it's going to have a bonus, all this extra live stuff and all this extra bonus stuff on the first one. Super excited. Went and ordered it. Not paying attention to what was going on. And so what I'm about to babble about is my mistakenly buying the second self-titled Atomic Rooster album, not the 1970s one, the debut album, but the reformed version of the band doing another self-titled album. And since I got it, I was like, well, I guess I'm going to listen to it. So I checked it out. And this is going to be what my thoughts on that is. So anyway, as I just stated, they, had a self-titled album way back in 1970. That album, I love that album. It's got Carl Palmer on drums, and I found this album because of the band Asia. I love Asia. They were coming to be big right when I was learning how to play guitar. In fact, the song Heat of the Moment made me want to learn how to play that song, and big power chords. I was very young, and I just wanted to play that song. So everything that was attached, this is where my obsession started. It was very, very young, where I wanted to know all the people in the band, and then I wanted to find everything they had ever done. And this is I've been this way my entire life, and this is one of the bands that started with was Asia. So that's how I found Atomic Rooster, because of that. However, Carl Palmer didn't last much longer. He did He did 3 albums with them, but it was only for a few years. Anyway, he was on that album. Then they had a different singer on that album. He was playing. They had a different bass player who his name was Nick Graham. He did all the vocals and stuff on that album. And there was another guy named Vincent Crane. So on this 1980s album, we got Vincent Crane, and we have the guitar player who took over on 1970. That first formation didn't last very long. Of a guy named John Duquesne, don't know. I guess it's probably Duquesne. And so basically, those two guys got back together in 1980 and reformed, and for whatever reason, did another self-titled album. And they kind of just, those two guys stayed together for a very long time, changed drummers, and other people came and went after that. But then somewhere along the line, even John Duquesne quit, and it just became Vincent Crane. Vincent Crane's been the only guy in the band. So quick history. It's probably someone's going to correct me on something I said there, but that's just the quick overview of it. So this 1980 self-titled album, those two guys. And it's got Preston Heyman on drums, but on this live stuff, I guess it's got Paul Hammond back on drums on that one. So anyway, long story short, the album kicked in. I don't even remember having this album. I probably do. So usually I go back and I listen to the originals compared to what the remasters are. And since I didn't really feel like going back and finding it, I don't even know if I have it. I didn't, so it was just a first listen ever for me. I didn't have a comparison of anything. So this is my initial thoughts. It kicked in, and the very first song on here, it sounded like Black Sabbath. I'm like, that sounds like what the heck's the name of the song? Neon Nights, which was ironically released the exact same year. So it's strange. As soon as it kicked in, I was like, that riff sounds like Neon Nights. I was waiting for Ronnie James Dio to start singing, which unfortunately he wasn't, because that would have been a great improvement on this. That's my main reason I really didn't care too much for Atomic Rooster beyond the first album, even though I got the earlier stuff, is because of Carl Palmer, obviously. But I never really got into the older stuff because once that John Ducan took over, I didn't really care for his vocals at all. This was no different. Musically, it was cool. I'm not going to run down every song because I've babbled so long already about, goofing up on this that no point in going over everything here. But the opening song, They Took Control of You, just has that riff. And there was another one in here, I think it was In the Shadows, I believe now. Geez, now I'm losing track because this is one I'm not going back and listening to again. So long story short, liked the album musically, although the vocals were just such like lack of melody. I like melody. I like the style of music, but the lack of melody for me just made me really not want to go back and listen to it again. Even though there's a couple instrumentals on there which I enjoyed, and there's instrumentals on the the live track, like Watch Out. It's like a really cool instrumental. I probably would have, saw some of these bands, they throw in extra CDs that are just instrumentals. This is one of those very rare occasions where I probably would have really enjoyed that more. So unfortunately there was like really nothing on here that's going to bring me back to it. I'll probably go back and just pull out that original Atomic. This is one of those times where this is going to make me want to listen to like the earlier stuff because I didn't enjoy it that much. Now I want to go back and appreciate the original Atomic Rooster. So I'm sorry if I'm offending any Atomic Rooster fans that have, carried on with the band and followed them. This album does not do it for me. It doesn't relive the magic of the early 70s for me. I don't like bashing on albums. I really don't look to review stuff. But just because this was a self-titled album, which I don't know why they did that, and I bought it by not paying attention, and I took the time to listen to it, and it really wasn't worth listening to. I'm just kind of doing a quick little review on it. Even the extra live at the Marquee Club one, it was that was more fun than listening to the album itself, and because I do enjoy live recordings and the energy of the show. However, the vocals were distorted so much that the fact that he's not a really strong singer, and then you got distorted vocals on top of it, really made it that part of it unpleasant. So I guess I'd have to give this a 5 out of 10 just because I enjoyed the music. So I'll say that. I enjoyed musically, I enjoyed these songs, but because the vocals for me just are so just unbearable. Just I don't know how to say it nicely. Didn't want to listen to it again. So that's where I'm at on it. I'm sure there's people out here that like this and like his vocals. So if you were a fan of the later Atomic Rooster, you're probably going to love this. You'd probably be annoyed at the fact that the vocals are distorted on the live stuff. Not the whole entire time, but a lot here and there throughout. It never really seems to go away. It keeps showing its voice every now and then. I'm hesitating to review this one because I know I'm bashing it, but it just is what it is. So sometimes we're going to get stuff that we don't love. I've said this before, I hate it when I get something and I don't enjoy it. But I figured I took a couple hours, or actually probably 2.5 hours out of my day listening to this. So I'm doing a review on it just to warn anybody else who thinks maybe they're getting the original one. This ain't it. Be careful. I was not paying attention. Got the 1980s one, thinking I was getting the 1970s one. With all the music I buy and, that I get sent and, this shows up sometimes, not paying attention to little tiny details. And when bands do this type of thing and they give the same title to an album that they've already released, it just, why did they do that? But anyway, enough of that. I've gone on way too long about this one. So feel free to disagree with me if you want. That's what this is all about. It's all opinions. That's just mine. If you agree, then cool. We're on the same boat. But whatever. It is what it is. And share, and subscribe. Usually I say to keep this music alive. But I would say that in the case of if they're actually going to do the original 1970s album, because that one I would really like to hear. So share, and subscribe to keep that music alive. And until they do that, we will see you.